Picture this. The most hyped rookie in WNBA history is facing her biggest playoff moment. And in a split second, everything changes. DiJonai Carrington's finger connects with Caitlin Clark's eye, leaving her with a black eye and sparking one of the most divisive controversies in women's basketball. But here's what the slow-motion footage actually reveals about what went down that night. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA carrying expectations no rookie had ever faced. The Iowa sensation, who broke college basketball attendance records, was now the face of a league desperate for mainstream attention. Every game was must-see television. Every play was analyzed frame by frame. The pressure was suffocating, and Clark knew that every opponent would be coming for her with everything they had. The Connecticut Sun playoff series represented everything Clark had worked toward. This wasn't just another game. This was her chance to prove she belonged among the elite players in professional basketball. The intensity was electric. The stakes were enormous, and DiJonai Carrington was ready to make her presence felt in ways nobody anticipated. September 22nd, 2024, Game 1 of the playoffs. Clark is orchestrating the offense when Carrington closes in on defense. What happens next unfolds in milliseconds, but the aftermath would consume social media for weeks. Carrington's finger makes contact with Clark's eye as she attempts to disrupt a pass. No foul is called. Clark continues playing, but by the end of the game, a black eye has formed around her left eye socket. The initial reaction was mixed. Some fans viewed it as typical playoff intensity. Others immediately questioned Carrington's intent. But when the slow-motion footage emerged, everything exploded. Frame-by-frame analysis showed Carrington's finger extending toward Clark's face. The angle looked suspicious. The timing seemed calculated. Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire across every social media platform. Twitter became a battlefield. Clark supporters flooded the platform with accusations of dirty play. They dissected every frame, pointing out how Carrington's finger appeared to deliberately target Clark's eye. The hashtag movements began. The death threats started. The racial undertones emerged. What should have been a basketball discussion became something much darker and more dangerous. The footage that went viral showed Carrington's extended finger making contact with Clark's eye area. Fans slowed it down, zoomed in, and created compilation videos suggesting intentional harm. Some claimed they could see malicious intent in Carrington's facial expression. Others pointed to the lack of a foul call as evidence of a conspiracy against Clark. The narrative spiraled completely out of control. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Neither player wanted this controversy. Clark, dealing with a black eye and media circus, could have easily thrown Carrington under the bus. She could have fed into the narrative that she was being targeted. Instead, she did something that shocked everyone. She defended her opponent. Clark's response revealed everything about her character. She called the play unintentional. She refused to engage with conspiracy theories. She emphasized that these things happen in intense playoff basketball. Her maturity in handling the situation was remarkable, especially considering the pressure she was under. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. This was about her refusing to let controversy define her rookie season. The media frenzy reached its peak when USA Today columnist Christine Brennan asked Carrington directly whether she intentionally poked Clark's eye. The question was inflammatory and inappropriate. Clark herself later criticized the journalist for asking such a loaded question. The incident exposed how the media was willing to sensationalize every aspect of Clark's rookie experience. Carrington found herself in an impossible position. A young player trying to establish herself in the league was now being painted as a villain by thousands of fans who had never watched her play before. She handled the situation with grace, explaining that she was simply trying to make a play on the ball. Her teammates rallied around her. The Sun organization supported her, but the damage to her reputation was already done. The real story behind the play is much simpler than the conspiracy theories suggest. This was playoff basketball at its most intense. Carrington was defending aggressively, trying to disrupt Clark's rhythm. The contact was incidental, a result of two elite athletes competing at maximum intensity. These types of plays happen dozens of times in every playoff series. Basketball is a contact sport. Players extend their arms, reach for balls, and make split-second defensive decisions. In slow motion, everything looks more dramatic than it actually is. The same footage that seemed damning in super slow motion looks completely different at normal speed. Context matters, intent matters, and both players understood what actually happened on that play. The controversy revealed something deeper about Clark's impact on the sport. She had become so popular that every interaction with her was scrutinized beyond belief. Opponents couldn't just play basketball against her. They had to worry about how their defensive efforts would be interpreted by millions of fans. This level of attention was unprecedented in women's basketball. DiJonai Carrington's reputation shouldn't be defined by one play that was blown completely out of proportion. She's a skilled defender who plays with intensity and passion. Her game is built on disrupting opponents and making plays that change momentum. The idea that she would risk her career and reputation to intentionally injure another player is ridiculous. The aftermath of the controversy showed both players' true character. Clark continued to excel under pressure, refusing to let the media circus affect her performance. Carrington bounced back from the unfair criticism and continued playing winning basketball. Both women handled an impossible situation with more maturity than many of the adults commenting on it. The incident also highlighted the double-edged sword of Clark's popularity. Her massive fan base brought unprecedented attention to the WNBA, but it also created an environment where every opponent faced intense scrutiny. Other players had to adjust, not just to Clark's skill level, but to the microscope that followed her everywhere. Looking back, the eye poke controversy represents a learning moment for everyone involved. Fans learned that not everything needs to be turned into a conspiracy. Media members learned that inflammatory questions can damage reputations unnecessarily. Players learned that social media can amplify incidents beyond all reasonable proportions. The real winner in this situation was women's basketball itself. Despite the controversy, the playoff series generated massive viewership and engagement. People who had never watched the WNBA before were suddenly invested in the outcome. The negative attention eventually transformed into positive growth for the league. Both Clark and Carrington have moved forward from the incident. They've shown that professional athletes can compete intensely while maintaining mutual respect. Their handling of the situation set an example for how sports controversies should be managed. They focused on basketball rather than feeding into manufactured drama. The eye poke incident will likely be remembered as one of the defining moments of Clark's rookie season, but not for the reasons people initially thought. Instead of being remembered as evidence of targeting or dirty play, it became a showcase of sportsmanship and maturity. Both players emerged from the controversy with their reputations enhanced rather than damaged. Today, Caitlin Clark continues to dominate the WNBA while advocating for respectful competition. DiJonai Carrington remains one of the league's most effective defenders while building her own fan base. The controversy that once threatened to overshadow their talents has become a footnote in their ongoing careers. The lesson from this entire saga is simple. Context matters more than viral clips. Character matters more than controversy. And sometimes, the most disappointing stories can transform into the most inspiring ones when handled with grace and maturity. Clark and Carrington showed us exactly how that transformation happens.